What is up, RGL family? Back with another retro news video. I was waiting for things to stack up, and now I think there's enough to talk about. First up on the agenda, as you can see on my screen here, is Undead for the Sega Genesis. It is a new RetroBit release coming out, and I had a video pop up in my feed from Retro Gamer Boy, who mainly focuses on Sega-related things, Sega games. So that's how I found out that this was a new release coming out by RetroBit. And so I watched his sort of, he got I guess a ROM, an early ROM to demo. And then I think shortly after I got the email from Castlevania Games / Rondo products with the release, and it is another RetroBit release, so you know this is a quality release. It is an open pre-order, but obviously after the pre-order date, you're going to be dealing with the secondhand market, eBay prices, etc. So definitely scoop it up if you want to add this game to your collection. It is I believe sort of their standard price for Sega Genesis games, and like Super Nintendo I think is typically this price range as well. $59.99. I would not order it from Limited Run Games. They will also be selling it, but I wouldn't get it from them. I think where you have the choice to get, you know, if it's not a limited run exclusive, Castlevania is my go-to / Rondo products. I'm in the US. You know, if you're in another country, that might differ. You might be better off. I know strictly limited typically, you know, we'll have these, and I believe I got an email that they are carrying this release as well. I have not had a good experience with the games that they're, you know, publishing or doing pre-orders for. Maybe because this is RetroBit, that might be a different story. So mileage may vary, but if you are in the US, my recommendation is definitely to get it from Castlevania / Rondo. And it's a, you know, so you can see you get the cool like translucent blue. Blue is my favorite color, so definitely loving this. And you get multiple. You get a reversible slip cover, or cover art insert. And it is like it's like Gunsmoke on the NES, or what was the other game on the original Nintendo? Night something. But basically it's a vertical shooter, but instead of being a ship, you're this guy here, and you're killing monsters. So sort of like your, you know, sort of like horror monsters, I guess. So it looks really cool, and I will definitely be picking this one up. Pre-orders close August 10th. It's funny because they sent an email, Castlevania, and it said June 1st. So I guess if you take the DeLorean back to June, obviously a typo. So pre-orders close August 10th. And again, I would definitely scoop it up in the pre-order, because your secondhand market, I would say minimum you're probably looking at 100. Apparently this was a Japanese exclusive, never released in the US or, you know, European territories. So whatever ends up being pre-ordered and manufactured is going to be the population of this game. And you know, again, RetroBit makes awesome like the quality of the products top notch, so can't recommend it enough. Next up we have Analog. I have not received any emails that my unit is shipping. according to the announcements, they don't have any new announcements since March still. The last one being that the shipping for the analog, or sorry, for the analog 3D was updated to July 2025. So we are into the first week of July. So I guess technically this target is still in range. Hopefully we'll get an update that they're actually shipping them. Next up, we have they're doing a sort of retro. This is a Kickstarter by Pixel Heart Games. Reggie's a big fan of theirs. They I think mainly, maybe, or completely release games, physical games for modern consoles. So PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Nintendo Switch. And they are doing a sort of they're doing a retro collection for the Joe and Mac games. So the 16-bit Joe and Mac games. And it looks nice. I do, typically this is the kind of thing I would grab for the Switch. I got my new Switch 2, and by 2 I mean TOO, meaning that I now also have a Switch. I got the OLED edition, and this is typically something I would pick up, but I think with some of the actual retro releases coming out now, physical games for some of the original consoles, I will probably be skipping on this for budgetary reasons. And also, I didn't play Joe and Mac, but I mean, it's cool. It's 16-bit, platformer, and action platformer. So we'll see. This might be something that I might have to pick up later on. Assuming there's enough of them. I don't know. We'll see. The physical, if you just want a standard Switch physical copy, let's see. This one here. So it's about $59 US. Which I guess, I don't know. I feel like that's expensive for a Switch game, but this is a collection. It's more than one game, so I guess you have to kind of decide, if the value's there for you. Apparently it's an uncensored mode. I wonder what that's all about. But anyway, yeah. So that's that. Again, this is for modern consoles. Kickstarter. It is you can see estimated delivery is February 2026, and the Kickstarter is till when? 33 hours to go. So what's that? A day, 24, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 1 day, 9 hours to go at this point for that. Maybe we're going to pull this one over. No, not that. Pull this over. Atari is going to be doing because it kind of follows the same thing, a retro collection release of the Bubsy games. I guess that was an Atari property. And again, this is going to be for modern consoles, but you got your retro graphics. At the helm of the project is Audie Sorley. He's a limited run producer. I think he also did, I can't think of it now. It was that sort of CDI remake game. I know, My Life in Gaming were involved in that as well. I think this is the same guy who was involved in that project. But in any case, so got like another retro collection release, not announced yet. According to this, limited run is going to, I assume, be doing a physical edition. They're the developer studio, but I mean that usually means they're going to be doing a physical edition. They don't list the Switch here, which is interesting, but I have to believe if they do a physical release that it would come out, or you know, they would have a version that's on the Switch as well. So that's cool. And what else? Oh, you know what? Sorry, let me just pull this up. Just staying in the same vein here of modern games. So I believe Limited Run is the only one who's offering this, but there is the Toplin collection 1 and 2. So if you want to get those for the Switch, they are, I believe, July 13th. Let's see. Yeah, July 13th. So you have volume 1 and 2, and what's in this one? Let's see. Tiger Heli, which it seems to be getting a lot of releases recently. Twin Cobra, Fire Shark, Outzone, Fix8, Dogyeon, and Basugan. So I think a solid collection of shooters. And that's $34.99, you know, plus your shipping and whatnot. So this is something. Actually, I'm curious. This is not a limited run exclusive, right? A numbered, yeah. So I might see if somebody else is carrying it. But these are the type of games on the Switch that I would typically pick up because it's, you know, old arcade classics, and I'm not going to get into collecting arcade machines. It just gets too crazy. So the Volume 2, you have Slap Fight, Truxton, Hellfire, Twin Hawk, Zero Wing, Vimana, Truxton 2, and Grindstormer. So I feel like a solid game list for the price, $34.99. Another game that they also, and this I guess is like an indie sort of release, is this Earthyon. It's got a similar sort of like very bright colors. People kind of compared it to the ZPF, which finally came out, and I actually have my copies now. I did that in a pickups video, which I need to publish. But this looks like a very cool shooter. And that is also $34.99. So I guess that's like their going price now. And this one closes on August 10th. So still got some time for that if you're interested in picking it up. Speaking of pre-orders, I have been taking some serious L's lately on Kickstarter stuff. So around the same time I ordered ZPF, there was another shooter called Arena Genesis, which I've talked about in other news episodes. That is definitely dead at this point, which I've mentioned. And apparently another one that I had pledged to, they have also absconded with our money. There was about 383 backers, and that was Cyber Mission, and it was sort of like a Forgotten Realms clone that was going to be on the Sega Genesis, and it looked really nice. Well, apparently it appears they may have taken that, not even developed anything, but actually like the Kickstarter video apparently may have been a demo for a game that is owned by this company, Game Energy Studio. You can see they have the infringing content links. The original version of the game is available here. So yeah, so apparently I think if I, understanding things correctly, they basically like took the video, created a Kickstarter. I think they raised like 28,000, and then just left with the money. It's PSCD Games. So if you see anything by these guys, don't back it. Be very wary of anything. So some people in the comments were saying this Energy Studio is them. I don't know about that. I think, I would stay away from both of them just to be safe though. But yeah, you can see if you try to go to their website, it says 404 not found. And this used to work. I'm pretty sure if you go to the Wayback Machine, which is what, Internet Archive, yeah. So let's see if we do pscdgames.com. I think this is how it works. So apparently like live in 2020. So let's go to one of the more recent ones. Yeah, so here you go. And actually, I think this Black Jewel Reborn, I think they actually released that. I'm not sure about these other games. But yeah, so I mean, you can see they had a site. So I don't know what happened, but they have disappeared. So this website no longer works. They had an itch.io link. I don't know if that was that valid though. PSCD Games. This comes up. Site development. What's funny is they still list Cyber Mission, but there's a takedown by that other company. So this is Russia. So I don't know. They've skipped off to Russia so that they can keep stealing games easier, maybe? I don't know. Although this like says added September 2024. So it doesn't look like this site. Oh, this is June 23, 2025. Or is that just when this person logged in? Yeah, so that's unfortunate. Because not going to see that. Not going to see Irina Genesis. So just be careful on Kickstarter. Maybe just work with, brands Unfortunately, otherwise, it's a risk. You might not be coming away with a product. And unfortunately, you're out the money. So finally, I was starting to see Mad Little Pixel put a video up on the Doom for the Super Nintendo, which got talked about, towards the end of last year. And then, but then there hadn't been any updates on it. And then I saw the video by Mad Little Pixel where he had been sent a review copy. And then the other ones started popping up. John Riggs, I'm sure Metal Jesus, John Hancock, I'm sure they'll be popping up too with review copies. This looks pretty awesome. Another reason I have to be very selective on what I'll be spending my money on. The cool thing, so there's actually two products coming with this. The game, which if you watch the Mad Little Pixel video, you know, he goes into detail about all the like hardware stuff they're doing with the game in order to pack everything onto, you know, a Super Nintendo cartridge and have it work on native hardware. I mean, it's pretty cool. But they're also, with this, I think the same developer who's doing the game created some new code, protocol, whatever, so that way you can have Rumble on the Super Nintendo, which is, you know, I mean, that's wild. So that's what this controller is. And then he also said in the video that they're actually going to, I don't know if it's going to be right away, you know, maybe they're going to see this pre-order. I would imagine they're going to see the pre-order stuff through before they release it, but apparently they're going to release the code for the Rumble feature. So other, you know, people, cottage industries can develop and use that. And I like 8-bit dough could incorporate it, that kind of thing. So apparently going to have two versions. These are not cheap. It's funny because when MadLittlePixel put his video up, I went to Limited Run because I knew from last year that they were going to be the ones, you know, doing the release, and it wasn't up on the site yet. And then I went to check it before recording this video, and now it's on the site with the price because he didn't have a price in his video. So no surprise that these are not cheap. Especially, you know, if you watch the video and the hardware that they had to do to get all this to work. It's understandable. It's a beefy project. Not for the faint of heart. So you get card, controller support, retro box, instruction booklet, poster, yeah. So that's the standard edition. You get a poster with it, which is nice. And then what is this thing here? Oh, that's my watch. Sorry. There we go. I can't shut it off. You get the retro box, which is cool. What is this? Oh, that's the instruction manual. Okay. And then, so let's see. And when is this? Interesting. So this pre-order is good till August 10th as well. I wonder why they would have two pre-orders closing on the same day. They want to take all our money. I mean, that's really the only explanation. And then there's the special edition, which you get this cool, you know, modeled cart. What else do you get? What's that? Individually numbered certificate of authenticity. Premium embossed foil box. Blood splatter print and metal plate labels. Includes rumble. Oh, so I thought this one would come with the controller, $475. Yeah, I don't know. Ugh. I mean, it's cool, but it's like $175 is kind of bananas. For basically a custom paint job in these, you know, metal sticker labels. I mean, it's cool, but you're not getting anything else in the box. This item is limited to 666 units and is limited pre-order for a limited amount of time. So I guess they're also interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's a bit disingenuous to call this a collector's edition because it doesn't come with anything extra besides this. You know, it's just a modeled, you know what I mean? You don't get any other feelies in the box. So you're basically paying $75 for a certificate and for this sort of like custom or more custom cartridge. and a premium boss foil box. Whatever that means. I guess, you know, it's shiny somewhere. I mean, this box looks the same, but it's just a picture. That's tough. I think if it had included one of the controllers, because the controller is $34.99. So if you think about it, like the main game's $99. This is $34.99. That it would still be $40 more for this custom like stuff. I don't know. To me, that seems I don't like that, but you do you. I mean, it's cool, right? You can't argue with the cool factor of it. And, you know, once all these sell, if you want to get one, I'm sure it's going to be bonkers banana expensive, right? Like, typically, I would say double. In this case, it might be more because of what it is. But I would say, you know, best case scenario, if you want the special edition, you're probably looking at $350 to $400, maybe more. I don't know. It seems like a lot of money for paint in this, you know, these like metal foil sticker or engraved sticker. I don't know. What do you think? Are you going to be one of the 666? It will be available on Friday, July 11th. So pre-orders open Friday, July 11th. I'm sure the bots are going to buy this out in no time. I think this one's still really cool, right? Like, this is still not a normal Super Nintendo cartridge, right? And you know, and with this, you have the money left over to get the controller. So here's the controller. It's got rumble. You know, you got your like custom paint job and sticker here, and $34.99 includes 2 rumble motors, not just one. And oh look, Eartheon has an 8-bit Do controller. That's cool. I didn't see that before. Cellular type button control. Yeah, and I think this goes the same August 10th. Anything in here? I'm surprised the Super Nintendo can run like the extra power, right? Because it didn't originally have rumble support, and the power for this comes from the console. I guess you must have the extra juices there and just wasn't using it, so that's cool. Now I want to look at this. It's wireless. Oh, but what happens? Oh, I guess, well, Artheon's for the Switch, right? Duh. I was thinking for the Sega Genesis, like the ZPF game. I mean, it's a cool little controller. Right? So there's that. And it's, I mean, it's by 8-bit Do. They make good stuff. And $34.99, and you get wireless. What else does it have? Let's see. Short, battery. Does it have, let's see, turbo function. That's it. So I guess no like rumble or gyroscopic or anything like that. Yeah, so that's Doom 2025 for the Super Nintendo, which is pretty awesome if you think about it. Let me see. Did I have anything else on the agenda? The Pro Mem 2 came out. I did my experiment with that. I was trying to see if I could run burn games on my, or specifically games from Project Retro Games. So he does, you know, like aftermarket reproductions. And so I got a couple of those games, and it does not work, unfortunately. I was hoping using the Pro M2 card with it's like PS2 loader, I think is what it's called, would work. There's like a new one that lets you actually run burn CDs, and my model of PS2 isn't supported for that yet. And I even like ripped the CD and then tried to play it through PS2 loader, and that didn't work either. I'm assuming there's some piece of data that's missing from his burned copy. So it would seem the only way I would be able to play these is with a modded PS2, which is not in the budget right now. Excuse me, and also not a project I want to take on. But that said, Pro M2, very cool device. It was really easy to set up, and I would highly recommend it. I was able to run McBoot off of it, no problem. So definitely a lot I could do with it. I ripped one of my own like original PS2 games, and I was able to play that with PS2 loader, no problem. So, and then, you know, its main function, be able to save games and move save games around, obviously works very well. So still very happy with the purchase. I knew it was a long shot trying to play these, you know, burned games. I will have to get a modded PS2 at some point, because otherwise I have no way of playing those games. I was trying to, like, I found like a thing for like patching burned games to be able to use it with the PS2 loader, and you know, so I tried that didn't work. Spent a lot of time on it. I mean, I don't know if, you know, if anybody out there got it to work with if anybody out there got it to work with the, you know, Pro M2 burned games, please let me know. I would be very interested in knowing how you did that. But yeah, otherwise, you know, like I said, I would still recommend it for sure. All right. So Demon Claw, you know, if you pre-ordered that, or I'm sorry, supported the Kickstarter, it should be shipping. Like they had like storms and stuff, so that should be coming. And so hopefully by the end of the month they'll have everything shipped out. And then something I came across is, which, I mean, maybe you know about this, but you definitely need to be careful about games being advertised as new on eBay and probably elsewhere that are just games that somebody like re-shrink wrap. And it's tough because some games, like, you might not know like what the original factory seal looked like. I would say a lot of, especially like disc-based games, they use the Y-fold, which is like, you know, you're not gonna have those weird like bumpy seams. You have the nice, you know, where the plastic lays over and it's kind of like a V, you know, on each of the corners. Because I was looking at like some games being sold as new, and I was like, that really looks like someone just like shrink wrapped it. And sure enough, that definitely seems to be the case. So like PSP has the Y-Fold. I know like PS2. I think like most of your like disc-based games that came in your like DVD cases had the Y-Fold. So just be careful about that if you're looking to buy stuff. I think buying new, I've bought new off of eBay, but I really think that it's probably better to do it in person, so that way you can really inspect it and as best as you can, hopefully ensure that it's actually new and not somebody just shrink wrapping it and selling it as new to get the extra bump in value. And then the last thing is, like I said before, I got my ZPF, so that's awesome. Strictly Limited, I still have not gotten any order updates on any of the stuff I've ordered from them, so that's off in the ether somewhere. They continue to release new games and ship games, so I mean, as far as I can tell, they're still a viable. I mean, they're doing the pre-order for the Sega Genesis game I was just talking about, so they're a viable company. So hopefully, I will get my items eventually. And then something I don't know if anyone else who got this. So I got the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rewind, and I got the nice like I don't know if it's considered collector's edition, but like the nicer version of it. And because it came with a steelbook, and I'm pretty sure I had watched Reggie's Reggie and Metal Jesus pickup video, and he had this. And I don't know, maybe I just totally missed this, but the steelbook is useless because look, there's no place for the cartridge. So it's literally like on this side you have the lenticular cards, like art cards, and like the trading cards it came with, right? But on this side, where you would think you could put a game cartridge, no, there's no. So I don't know what he's just like expecting you to throw the cartridge in here and have it knock around. And then also, if they were doing all this, like they couldn't have a manual, like even. Like I was going back over all my games and loading them onto my Switch, in case they ever decide to shut things down. At least I've loaded the game, and so hopefully, I'd be able to continue playing it. And it was funny because a lot of the games, they don't have manuals, but then like some of the limited run games, they would just have like one is just like art. It's not even, I think it's just like a single page with art on either side. Another game came with a manual, but it was really just all artwork, so it was more like an art book. But I would think with like these more expensive collections, like you couldn't include a manual, even if it's just something really basic, with like the controls. I mean, there's a lot of moves in this game. Like this would be a game to have a real manual with the moves in it. So you didn't have to like pause the game and go into the menu every time you wanted to see what the moves were. Yeah. Because it wasn't cheap. I think this was like $80. And to get a steel case that doesn't have a place for the cartridge was frustrating. And I wish I had known that. I wish I'd paid better attention, because I probably would have canceled or returned it and just gotten the regular one. So it comes with the regular Switch case too, I believe. Yeah, it must, because the game's not in there. So yeah, I think that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this update. There was a lot to go over. Like I said, I haven't done one in a while, but I wanted to let things stack up here. But before making a video, so that way, it wasn't just like 2 minutes of content. So yeah, I will continue hopefully doing these. I will try to make them more frequent. Retro gaming, I think as much as people say, maybe it's like oversaturated or people are losing interest. You see like these content creators, they're starting their own expos, and the expos that had been, had existed, they're getting bigger. So I think the industry is really building and still gaining in popularity. And like you have these companies like RetroBit releasing games in the US that were exclusive to other countries, and so even if like some of the original content is super expensive, there's these new games coming out that are very affordable, very reasonably priced. And, it's just really cool that you can like open up a new Sega Genesis game now, or a new Nintendo game. I know I've said it before. So I just want to, kind of keep that awareness out there, so we can support these projects. And yeah, it's a very exciting time, to be, a retro gaming enthusiast, hobbyist, etc. That is it for this episode of Retro News. Thank you so much. And I will see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye.